Welcome to Win the Day from Back to the Bible. I'm your coach, Pastor Nat, and today we will talk about the return of Jesus. If you could be anywhere right now, where would you be? If you could be with any person, who would that person be? I bet all of our answers are very different. Perhaps you thought of an exotic island with your spouse, or maybe it was on an old porch with your deceased grandparent or parent. What if there was a day coming when you'd be with those people who loved Christ and loved you? What if that day was filled with every saint from the past, present, and future? What if that day was with Jesus Christ? And what if that togetherness never ended? That's what we want to talk about today as we look at a very important and debated passage. Paul writes this in 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, beginning in verse 16. For the Lord himself will descend from heaven with a cry of command, with the voice of an archangel, and with the sound of the trumpet of God. And the dead in Christ will rise first. Then those who are alive, who are left, will be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. And so we will always be with the Lord. Therefore, encourage one another with these words. In the previous few verses, Paul has reminded and informed these believers that they have hope. They don't grieve as the unsaved world does. The Christian may grieve over death and loss, but the grief for a believer is short-lived. When a believer dies, their bodies die or sleep until their soul is reunited in a future resurrection. This time of waiting on the Lord should not result in worry that Jesus will leave behind those who have died. The resurrection will occur, and those living and dead who are found in Christ will be united with him. And that's when Paul says, "For the Lord himself will descend from heaven with a cry of command, with the voice of an archangel, and with the sound of the trumpet of God, and the dead in Christ will rise first." Now, notice, this isn't a sneak attack. This isn't like a ninja's entrance so no one notices. The Lord himself will come back to earth with a cry of command, with the voice of an archangel, and with the sound of the trumpet of God. Jesus is returning. The trumpet is blasting. It is waking of the dead. This is a very noticeable moment for the world. And then what? Verse 17 says, "Then we who are alive, who are left, will be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air, and so we will always be with the Lord." Caught up is the same word that is used in Acts chapter 8. There it means to be taken away suddenly. Where are we snatched to? Well, it says in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. So does that mean if the sky is clear blue, Jesus won't come back? No, I don't think so. I don't think that's the point. So what is the point of the text? Well, it's not to cause confusion, and it's not caused to create debate over the return of Christ. It's not there to divide Christians into pre-trib or post-trib camps. The point is twofold. First, Christ is coming back. We who are saved will be with him. We don't need to worry if Jesus comes back in a minute or in another 1,000 years. If we are saved, we will be united with him and reunited with each other. That's the first point. But then what's the second point? We will always be with the Lord. That's what he says. Christ is coming back for his church, and our union with him will never end. That's the other point. So what do we do with this information? Well, verse 18 gives us the answer. Therefore, encourage one another with these words. When we doubt the faithfulness of Christ's return, or struggle to trust God in the season of pain, suffering, and loneliness, we need to remind each other that Jesus is coming back. He won't forget us. He won't neglect us. He will finish the job. The resurrection promised is coming for us. He will gather the church, and we will never be separated again. What a glorious day that brings me, because it brings me great hope. Now, how about you?